Hi, everybody. Welcome back to eTeam Sponsor and our first webinar of 2024. I'm your host, Sean Connors, co-founder and CEO. Really excited to jump into all the latest and greatest that we can share with you guys here with regards to fundraising today. And we're going to have an emphasis on football. So today we're going to bring you some of the brightest and the best in the college ranks from the 2-year and the 4-year college levels. These coaches, not only do they win on the field, but they win off the field when it comes to fundraising as well. These 5 coaches have amassed over $1 million in total for their college football programs. What has that done? It's done a lot. Make sure you stick around and learn from them as to how it impacts their program. The vision here at eTeam Sponsor is pretty simple. Over the course of the next 10 years, we want to increase the number of student athletes that are participating in high school and college athletics by 20%. Yeah, that's a tall task, but we know that if we can reduce the cost barrier to participate in athletics, we know what that's going to yield. It's going to yield a nation, a country of people that are better prepared to be a positive impact on society. We all know what our experiences were like in athletics, from working with coaches and people that cared enough about us to teach us, coach us, help us improve, commitment, discipline, all of these traits that we've learned that have carried us through our lives. We know that that can have a positive impact on society, and that's what we want to create. For us every day here at eTeam Sponsor, we're looking to unlock opportunity through the most trusted fundraising experience, through innovative technology and exceptional value. Those aren't just words. We're not a company that's going to focus in on what's not important. We're going to focus on what is important. And for us, unlocking opportunity starts with raising the most money. And that's going to be really exciting for us to share more of the features and functionality that we'll cover on the webinar today. Is only helping you raise more money. It's helping you do it in less time. And with the funds that you have for your program now, you're going to be able to do more for your student athletes, improving their experience and making it just that much better for them. When it comes to spring football, we know how important it is for these programs to be able to generate the funds then, because when it comes to the season, the only thing they're worried about is making sure that the student athletes are athletically prepared, academically prepared, and that's about all that matters. Fundraising in the spring has become vital for these programs. At the college level, we've seen some tremendous success. You're going to hear from some of them today. You're going to hear from Rob Snelling at Butte College in the 3C2A. You're going to hear from Joel Osborne at Benedictine College in the NAI, and you're going to hear from Coach Rick Wright at Northwest Missouri State. They're going to talk to you about why they raise money in the spring, what they invest those dollars in, and how that positively impacts their program, and most importantly, how it's transforming their programs. It's transforming how they do their jobs. It's transforming how the student athletes participate, their experience. We can't wait to share that with you guys here as we jump in next. Jumping into the why, what, and the how of spring football, we're joined by head football coach Joel Osborne from Benedictine College. On with Coach Rob Snelling, head football coach at Butte College in California. With Rich Wright, head football coach at Northwest Missouri State. Let's get right into it, man. Why do you guys raise money in the spring?
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're actually gearing up. I just met with our assistant coach this morning about it. So there's 2 phases to it. So the thing is being able to present the players with the gear that we're going to, they're going to be able to get once they check in for fall camp in August. But you have to plan that out. So in order to do that, logistically, you have to have the funds to make the purchase. So in order to have those funds, you can't just wait till the fall to do that. So you got to do it in the spring. Plus, there's a little bit of downtime. So we're as coaches, we're finishing up recruiting. Okay. Then we're getting geared up for spring football. So there's a little bit of a 2-week window here where we can get this knocked out. And so because of the ease of the system that you guys provide in that platform, online platform, it's really quite simple for us. And we use this time frame to get it knocked out. And then, probably the biggest thing for us is there's always going to be some follow-up, You're going to have to, follow up with guys. Hey, you need to make sure we get this amount of people to, get in the system, and we got to follow up. Have you asked this person? So you just got to keep working it, a little bit. But otherwise, I love the ease of the system and how we use it. But I think the big thing is once you get that stuff, you get the organizational side of it figured out. This is the timing of why you need to do it then. then once they get into the fall season, the kids are going to have a great experience. They're going to look good. They're going to be proud of their college they're playing for, and to wear the gear. And the other thing too is then they have that great experience. So like I always think about kids are food is a great way to somebody's heart, right?
Sure.
So if you got a meal on a Friday that you can get them where it's a sit down meal, it's home cooking. We got a great restaurant here that cooks our home game meals and on Friday nights. If you can get them a sit down meal where it's hot food and they're loving that, man, it's like they're at home again. Mom's cooking. So the kids really appreciate that. And then when you're on the road, I mean, it's one thing if you get a hotel, but it's another thing if it's a really nice hotel and there's good accommodations. And so we try to do that for our players and treat them as first class.
It's kind of one of those things where most places, you're paying up front if they're going to give you something. So you got to be able to pay your bills on time, and you got to be able to try to forecast in front a little bit. And hey, we're going to need to recover this sled and fix these bags. We're going to need to order some more of these. We need more footballs. Need more shoulder pads for this group. We cycle those out every couple of years. A new group gets new shoulder pads. So, 1 year it'll be the big guys. Another year it might be the QBs and receivers. Then it will be the DBs. So, those orders are happening now. I mean, that's all February, March type stuff. And so, being able to project what we are working with, how many can we get, helmets, thankfully, I get a lot of support from our school on that, from my AD specifically. So, that's a huge, huge help for us. But just about everything else, we're trying to make sure we take care of it. And so, and we're fortunate in other ways. I mean, there's other people that have to pay for buses where we have buses because of where we're located. So everybody's got their own unique situations. But I know for us, it just makes it a lot smoother as we move into season. We're not waiting to order things late. We're not scrambling at the last minute, man, hopefully we can get this or that. And sometimes a need might pop up late that you address, but I mean, it really allows you to get in front of it and have everything set for, the front end of the season. And so you can kind of roll into what you need to do when camp starts and getting everybody prepared and focusing on getting their school stuff set and getting practice going and kind of integrate all the new guys into the program.
For us, it's difficult to do during the season with all the constraints that not only our players, but we as coaches have as well. And so the spring has always made a little bit more sense. We're a university of about 8,000 students, but we're in a community of about 12,000. And there's a lot of fidelity here in terms of the community. But one of the things that we tried to tackle is our community gets hit a lot. And so this is the one event we do a year where we get our kids involved. And how we do it is we have them create contacts with family members, businesses, those types of things where they're from. And what it allows us to do is it allows us to tie in back to our community. So everything is tied to the idea that we do a community cleanup here. So they're basically sponsoring our kids. So we go out, one of our coaches puts sign-up sheets at the local churches, and it's actually for elderly people that can't do the work themselves. And so it's a way for us to give back to the community and also create a fundraiser for ourselves.
How has the funds it maybe transformed the way you operate the football program? Obviously, you came from a national power at the Division II level, and to coming over to Benedictine. How has the fundraising process here with us transformed how you operate? Maybe even just how you work with your athletic director in terms of budget impact, knowing that there's money that you're raising. Has that helped? Talk us through if there's been any transformative aspects from the results of the fundraising.
Well, so as a head coach, I've just finished my third year. So we've used this every year. So I can't give you a comparative to like, this is what it was like before we used it, because all I know, this is all. So, and I know some guys at our level, it's, we're an NAI school where, it can be hard and challenging because you're expected to have a little bit of a bigger roster to help with enrollment for the school in general. But then at the same time, you're expected to compete at a high level and to try to win. Well, winning takes money, takes resources. And so, if you can, a lot of times, if you have the money and the resources, what that does is that eliminates stress. And anytime you can eliminate stress and you feel good about it, you're going to have a lot better chance to perform at your best capabilities. So I think that's one of the biggest things as the head coach it does for me. It eliminates some stress. Otherwise, I'd have to deal with and have to try to, okay, who can I contact now that we're already, trying to get funds from? You know what I mean? So instead of always having to go to the same well, I got another avenue of revenue that we can go to. And, then some of the parents, one of the things I'll share with you guys is some of the parents from the first year, well, they still donate.
Yeah.
So now they feel like their son had just a wonderful experience and they want to give back to our program now. And so because of that, now you're creating other sources of revenue that you may not have had previously, so it's been a home run for us for sure. And I don't know how I would operate without it, to be honest with you.
What would you say is the most important thing that you invest the dollars into?
For me, I mean, I'm a food guy, so I mean, my AD teases me all the time because I'm pretty much like, if we're gonna do any event, like, hey, is there gonna be food? What are we doing, or how are we feeding people? Like, what's going on? And so, again, for a lot of our guys, a lot of us were college students. We know, stretching every dollar, trying to make everything count, and paying the rent, paying tuition, and to getting to and from, gas prices, all those things. And so, go back to just, like our food budget is not good for the day, for like, if I was to take you and feed you for 3 meals and you play for me, I have $20 to feed you for the day for 3 meals. So I don't know very many places in California that you're going to feed people for, $6.66, I think would be the average there, breakdown, but per meal. So it's just tough, and so, I mean, for me, I always want to make sure our guys are taken care of there. And so I'm willing to spend kind of whatever we need to there, while we're on the road, especially. And, it's kind of tough during the week. Everybody's doing what they got to do and working and all that. But I mean, when we have them traveling and doing those things, I want to make sure our guys are taken care of.
What have you guys been able to do with the funds?
Well, what we try to do is, obviously in this day and age with expenses going haywire and budgets being what they are, it's become a way for us to continue to do some really nice things for our kids in terms of gear, and just the things that they want to have, be it sweatshirts and hats and cleats, gloves, just all those extras that sometimes as a Division II football program you don't have a budget for. And so what it allows us to do is do some really nice stuff for our kids, and it lessens the load on my budget as well.
Got it. And then, kind of the how fundraising really impacts your program. I know we've talked to coaches across the country, and they say sometimes it allows for better conversations when it does come to budget planning with administration, knowing that they've had successful fundraising activities, or they're generating revenue during the off season. Has that helped to impact your program anyway, or that way, or just transforming your program? You guys obviously are, you're a national power. Everybody knows at the D2 level, you guys are, you're one of the best. But how has that maybe transformed your program?
Willie, I just think it alleviates some of the burden that the institution has to try and, raise funds each and every year. Obviously, I talked about we use it for some of the stuff that our kids get, but it also goes towards other things. And having a skin in the game when you're talking to your finance people, I think is advantageous. They see that you're out working and trying to help lighten the load, so to speak, for the institution. And with some of the other things that we have to do that aren't budgeted, we've been pretty good here historically, and so playoffs and things like that, those aren't, the NCAA only covers that to a certain point, and there's really not a line item budget for that. So just some of those other things that happen throughout the year, having some resources that you can utilize is obviously advantageous.
Good. Well, Coach, hey, we really appreciate it. You've got my cell phone number too. If there's anything ever comes up, you got any questions or any ideas, hey, Sean, have you guys thought about doing this? Feel free, open line of communication. Love to help any way we can. All right, first, we're going to jump into new features for our donors when it comes to Apple and Google Pay. So donors are directed to our campaign landing pages for our programs. As you can see here, they'll simply click Give Now. And as we always state, the 3 E's, we want to make sure that this is easy, effective, and our expertise shows up here. And it definitely will. They're going to be able to simply couple clicks and make a donation. identify the amount. They'll be able to input their information and then click whichever form of payment they'd like to. In this case, I've chosen Apple Pay. Double click, donation made. That easy. Okay, next we're going to jump into participation user interface and talk about group select and our new step-by-step function to participation. After logging in and self-selecting what group the participant is going to be a part of, coaches, that's for you, you're going to be able to set up teams or groups for your student athletes to participate in. We know that competition will breed greatness. And if you have groups that are participating against one another, you're going to get the most out of your fundraising. So in this case, student athlete will log in. They'll go ahead and click on the hamburger bar in the top right, and you'll scroll down right underneath dashboard. You'll notice step-by-step guide. This new user interface is making it easier for the participants to go through and identify what is most important, top to bottom, in terms of what they need to do before they move on to the next step. In our participation process, we know that SMS text messaging and then connecting with your social apps are the two most important things to start with. So in this case, we want to share. So they'll be able to click on any one of these icons and it will pull up their native sharing in their app on their phone, and they'll be able to make that distinction and start to participate. From there, they'll be able to start adding donors that'll be a part of the email campaign. Reminder, coaches, we send 4 emails over 35 days. 5th email is the wrap-up email at the end of the campaign, letting all donors and potential supporters who may not have chosen to give them an update on how the campaign went and the success of the campaign. Here they'll be able to upload names, email addresses, and again, once they do that, we're going to ask them to go through the family share process. For those of you that have been with us for a while now, you know family share has been out for quite some time now, and this has allowed family members, parents to be able to help these student athletes or the participants add the necessary donors. And in this case, we're seeing far more than 20 potential supporters being added to each individual participant. In this case now, you'll see here, this specific participant was able to upload 56 potential donors. The goal was 20, set forth by the head football coach as part of their spring football campaign, and he almost tripled it. Added 2 family members as part of family share, and then added all of these donors. What we're seeing when this happens is far greater participation, greater number of donations, and in this case you can see here this student athlete, by using the step-by-step guide, family share, and participating in his group that he's been selected to be a part of, has raised $840, and their goal was $610. All right, and last, we're going to cover something that you'll see a little bit more about next month during our next webinar, but we're going to talk to you about our event-driven campaign and how football coaches are now using alumni and alumni lists as part of a very specific event-driven campaign. In this case here, you can see Modern Day Football. They've created their 3 stripes alumni, family, and friends campaign. This is an event-driven campaign, so this is going out specifically on behalf of the football coach. You can see here we've got the timer, the countdown, custom messaging throughout here, also being able to identify the very specific needs. We also have connected specifically the social applications that the program has asked for. So if you click on any of these icons, these will open up into the program's branded, owned social channels, which we know provides a tremendous amount of value. And again, more to come on this next month during our next webinar. Awesome webinar. Really excited to get this back in the fold here in 2024. Shout out to all of our coaches who joined us today. Exceptional panel. I'm sure many of you have learned quite a bit. Great to hear what your peers are doing and how they're being successful incorporating fundraising into the spring. Also wanted to remind all of you, if there's any more information that you'd like from us, go ahead and click on the links below. We'll be happy to get back to you and help facilitate any information that we need to your way. As always, for us, we're looking at ways to be elite and fundraise more. Any ideas you got for us, send them our way. We're open to that type of feedback, and we're looking forward to Huddling up with you guys again next month. Same bat time, same bat channel. Signing off here, Sean Connors for E-Team Sponsor. Be elite, fundraise more.